Hey guys, it's Kimalyn. Welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys all the books that I read in June, as well as showing you guys all my July TBR, or my July hopefuls, what I hope to be reading in July. This is my first monthly wrap-up that I've done on my channel, so we'll see how this goes. I do not read like a hefty amount of books like other people do. There are some people that read like 20 books a month, or even 10 books a month or whatever. Not I. I think this was a pretty good reading month for me personally, and a good start to me doing monthly wrap-up videos. So bear with me. I really just, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let's get started with my what I read in June. So the first book that I read this month in June was The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. Now, I started this book in the middle of April and I finished it the beginning of June. It's about 430 pages, so that's a lot more than I usually read. I usually read in the 300 page area. This is a part of the Dreamland Billionaire series. If you haven't heard, this is the first book. It's kind of like a Disneyland copycat. It's about this grandfather who passes away and is giving his inheritance of giving the Dreamland, his will and everything, to his 3 grandsons. So the 3 grandsons correlate to each 3 of the books in the Dreamland Billionaire series. So the grandfather gave each grandson a task for him to complete in order to get the inheritance. This book is about Rowan. His task is to, I don't even remember, to become the director of the company, see what the weaknesses of the company were, and to do a big renovation for the company to make it like better. So Rowan just became the boss of the company. He meets this girl named Zara. She works for Dreamland. He is her boss. It's one of the tropes where she falls for him, but he falls 10 times harder. I did not like this book. I'm sorry. I think I gave this like a 3-star. It was okay. I did talk about it in one of my reading blog videos because it took me from April to June to finish this book. I did have a lot of end of the year school stuff happening, and this book being so hefty, and it just like wasn't the book I needed at the time, and it did put me in a slump. Because I was kind of getting bored of it too, I started reading other books at the same time of reading this. This was like one of the books that I had to just force myself to finish. I did not want to DNF it because I do want to finish the rest of the series. It's just 2 very horny people, and they just can't be together for work reasons, but they want each other because they're fucking horny, and that's literally it. Like, it was just infatuation and like the lust factor of it. I recommend it though. The book was good. It was just I was in a slump, and then I was kind of picking at the negative factors towards it. I don't think it's a very memorable book because I don't really remember much about it besides them being crazy sex obsessed, him not being very gentleman, and abusing his power. Thank you very much. So yeah, the cover's cute. I gave this a 3-star. Don't let my rating and my opinion on it change your mind about reading it. You just gotta really be in the right mind space of reading this. That was the first book that I read. I'm sorry. Next, I read When in Rome by Sarah Adams. I read this right after reading The Fine Print, like the same day, and this was just exactly what I needed after reading this. It's just the perfect, fluffy, light, cute romance that everybody needs. A good palate cleanser, even though this was also a romance, but girl. This is about a girl named Amelia and a boy named Noah. Amelia is the princess of pop. She just needed a break from the fame world, and she's obsessed with Audrey Hepburn. She watched a movie literally called When in Rome, I think, and she wanted to have a little vacation and escape from her fame life. She searched up the nearest Rome, and she ended up in Rome, Kentucky. Her car breaks down. Of course it does. It breaks down in the front yard of Noah Walker's house, and Noah Walker was trying to help her. She was like, girl, strange man, get away from me. It's just this really cute small town, and there's just no service as well, so she was completely stranded and away from her fame life. Her car needed to be fixed, and she couldn't leave town for like 2 weeks. I think this was just so cute, and they had very good banter, and then you'll see how much their resistance were with each other, and he had no idea who she was with the fame and everything. The town literally reminds me of Gilmore Girls. She knew that in time she did have to leave town. So I really recommend this book. I gave this book a 4 stars. It was perfect. This was the second book that I read in June. Because I finished When in Rome, I decided to pick up the second book, Practice Makes Perfect. This isn't like a series. You can read them as standalones. This one talks a lot about the characters in this book a lot. If you read this first, it kind of just, you're not as connected to the characters in this book as you would be if you read this first. This is Will. He is the bodyguard to Amelia, the pop star from the first book. And this is Annie. She is Noah from the first book's little sister. I loved Noah and Amelia so much that I was like, oh my god, I need to just jump into this. This book I did not like. I think I gave this like a 3-star on Goodreads, but if I'm being honest, it's like a 2.5 star, 2-star. This felt more like a knockoff Gilmore Girls or like a Gilmore Girls fan fiction. This felt just like cute Gilmore Girls, like what I needed. This just felt like parody. So basically Annie, she is a very shy girl, doesn't date, and when she does date, it doesn't ever go well. Her main goal in life is to get married, have a family. She's always had some sort of attraction towards Will, but just knew because he's so bad boy, tattoos, like hello, it just wasn't gonna work. And Will himself, he has baggage. Seeing how his parents loved when he was younger, barely even loved, it just, that gave him his whole perspective of love. He thought that's how it's supposed to go. It was hard for him to commit to anything long term. He was very one night stand, hit it and quit. He just wants to help her get out there, meet a sweet, loving guy. He just knows that he is not the one for her because of everything that he has going on, but he can't seem to stay away from her. It was so cringe. Like, I think like it was almost 30-year-olds acting like teenagers. And I would see people on TikTok talking about how cute it is, but no ma'am, wasn't giving what this was giving. I was thinking about it, I was like, how long of a time span is this taking place over? And it was only a month. Oh wait, did I even say? He decided to help her out with the dating world and decided to be her dating coach, and you know how that goes. That's pretty much like the whole thing. He's helping her out. He was helping her with like how dates work and what to say. So he was her dating coach. I didn't say that, I'm sorry. He literally says, I wouldn't know how to communicate well, or I'd feel an itch to leave when things got tough because I'm self-aware enough to know that I avoid all confrontation and discomfort like their diseases. Who would want a man like that? I literally wrote ick. Why did I write ick? I wrote ick because he fell down. He tripped on the street. Gilmore Girls knockoff. Like, this is Rory and he's Jess. And he was like, it's why you need to run away from me. Kick me out. Board up your windows. Lock your doors. I've got so much baggage. I'm not sure I'd be any good for you or that I'll ever be the marriage type. Girl, red flag. If he can't even... Oh my god. Okay, can we talk about the next book? So that was that series, whatever. Win in Rome for the win. I'm sorry. I did not know that book was gonna get me all riled up. I literally finished that book earlier this week. The next book that I read on my Kindle. I read the Mindfuck series by St. Abby. I do have in my last video me reading it. If you want to watch that, go ahead and watch it. I read the Mindfuck series halfway into reading Practice Makes Perfect. That's how much this book bored me to death that I had to read something else. Mindfuck series is about this girl named Lana. She is a serial killer. She falls in love with this guy named Logan, who is a FBI agent profiler who solves serial killer crimes, and he's solving Lana's case, but he doesn't know that it's her. She is a serial killer because of revenge. Look up the trigger warnings before you read this book. It is a 5-book series. Each book is very, very short. I read the whole series within like a week. There is less than 200 pages in each book. It really just was so suspenseful, and it was so absolutely mind-fucking to read. When they first started talking and getting to know each other, he was asking her about her past. Obviously, she was not open up to talk about it. Her killings are dedicated to something that happened 10 years ago in her past, and she doesn't want to talk about it, and that is her whole entire like upbringing. He's okay with it. He's like, girl, when you're ready to talk about it, you can talk to me. And it was interesting because he knows everything that her past has to offer, but he doesn't know it's her. Like, him solving the crime and everything and finding more clues, like, he's knowing what's happening throughout the book to her past, but he just doesn't know that it's his love of his life. And I wish there was just so much more romance happening. There wasn't as much romance to really see how connected they really were. I really do recommend this series. I gave the whole entire series a 4 stars, I believe. I really wanted more details on their romance, so that is what I also read. Okay, so those are the 4 books, including the Mindfuck series on my Kindle, that I finished reading in June. I did start 2 books in June but did not finish them. I did start reading the 4 Agreements book, self-help book. I actually have not read it in a little while, but everything I have literally just underlined or highlighted. I don't know, I need to get back into reading this. This will probably be in my July wrap-up, hopefully. Yeah, I just wanted to say that I did start this book. The other book that I started yesterday, and I'm already halfway through. I started reading If You Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan. I am reading it on my Kindle though. I was gonna try to finish this book before filming this video. I was on a time crunch of filming this. I'm filming this on the last day of June. If not, then it'll go with my July wrap-up. This is about a boy named Finn and a girl named Autumn. They were childhood best friends. They grew up together. Something changed during middle school, I believe, and they don't even talk to each other. Their moms are best friends, so it's like inevitable for them to just see each other all the time. Autumn has a boyfriend named Jamie. Currently, I'm at the mark where they've been together for 2 years. Finn, he has become like the popular boy at school. He's just that girl, like, type thing. Even though Autumn is with Jamie, she still feels something very strong for Finn. You can tell in the book she loves Jamie so much, but it's just not the same type of love as Finn, and you can tell Finn is her first love. It's just kind of a whole thing like, oh, if things were different, if he had been with me. This is like the sad book on TikTok. Like, you find out why it's so sad at the very beginning of the book. I kind of forgot about it. Like, when I read it, I was just like, I kind of forgot that that even happened. She knows that she wants to talk to him and rekindle their friendship and everything. She just can't get herself to do it. I'll give my review and how I feel about this book in my July wrap-up. Those are the books that I finished reading in July and also started. Now we're gonna go through all the books that I want to hopefully read in July. I have a lot of books on my TBR. I do have like priority ones and then low ones, so we're gonna start with the more top priority ones that I'm most likely to get through in July. First, I have Archer's Voice by Mira Sheridan. I have heard a lot of things about this book, but like not really like the whole summary of it. Wait, what is this about? So I guess girl, what is her name? Bree? Is her name Bree? I think her name is Bree. Has something going on where she needs to just get away, and she ends up in this like different town. Each breath has been a reminder that I survived and my dad didn't. Okay. She's just kind of feeling a heavy weight and she just needs to get away, I guess. But the moment I meet Archer Hale, my entire world tilts on its axis. Archer communicates with no one. There's so much more to him than just his beauty, his presence, or the ways his hands communicate with me. On me. Oh, but this town is mired in secrets and betrayals, and Archer is the explosive center of it all. So much passion and so much hurt, but it's in Archer's silence that we might just find what we need. So he's deaf is pretty much what I'm getting. She falls for him and there's secrets in the town. I'm very excited to read this. I really want to read this in July. That is on my TBR. Next, I have Beach Read by Emily Henry. I have never read an Emily Henry book. I heard Beach Read was her best one. So basically they just are both in writer's block in writing January's romance and Augustus's literary fiction. Because they're both in writer's block and because they're both spending the summer next to each other in houses at the beach, so they decided to switch genres, see how that plays out, and write each other's book. This is also a high priority on my TBR. Next, I do want to read at least one thriller book this month. First, I have Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney.
Things have been wrong with Mr. and Mrs. Wright for a long time. Workaholic Adam has faced blindness. He can't even recognize his own wife. When Adam and Amelia went a weekend away to Scotland, it might be just what their marriage needs, but they didn't randomly win this trip.
One of them is lying and someone doesn't want them to live a happily ever after. So why is it called Rock, Paper, Scissors? About to find out. One of those books that people have read in one sitting, and I've talked about it on my channel how I have a hard time reading thriller books and mystery books because I get scared. We'll see how this goes. The other thriller book that I have is Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. This girl named Ellie, she disappeared. 10 years later, her mom is still trying to get her life back together and figure things out for herself. She ends up finally get back into the dating life. She meets this man. Soon enough, it's time to meet the man's family and his kids. One of the kids looks exactly like her daughter Ellie that went missing. So I think that's very interesting. So yeah, I'm very excited to get to reading to this. So the next book is Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. This is fat. I don't know what this is about. This is either a love it or hate it book. I know that it's very toxic. I want to see how toxic this gets. I'm trying to read a lot of the stuff that I know might stab me in the chest books before I go to college. That is all on my physical TBR that I want to get to this month. There's other books that I haven't gotten to that I'm literally staring at, but I just know for a fact they're not going to get read this month. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Those were all the books that I read and also started in June, as well as all the books that I would hopefully want to get to reading in July. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, whatever. If you have read any of these books, the ones that I have read as well, or the ones that I am wanting to read, please let me know what you guys think about them. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!